So this was what happened. This is a song some of you might recognize. I can't tell the lyrics. Now, whether those points of consciousness are in body or not, I don't know, because I'm not. But as soon as I finished that thought, the voice picked back up and said, these are those that you are to work with in order to facilitate the new world order. It will happen in your lifetime. Know this to be true. Your path will be full of trials and tribulations. Have faith and trust that everything you need will be there at its appointed time. Notice it said at its appointed time, not mine. Trust and allow. And on the W, I felt another rush of energy, and I back in my body again. Now that whole process took that long, the length of that song. So it happened pretty quick. But in those realms, time does not exist, as you probably know. Things can happen in an instant. And you get a download that can just be amazing. So what do you do with that? Well, you get professional help. I wanted to tell everybody. So when I told my parents, the first thing that they had me do was go see a psychiatrist. What else the last thing? It was him. After the third visit, he says, you know, you're not crazy. I'm like, okay. But it was nice to hear from him. He says, you've got all the classic signs of the spiritual awakening. Why so young? I don't know, because most people don't have one until their mid-40s, if they ever do. So he says, you must have something else going on. I'm not quite sure what it is, but come here, I want to show you something. So he gets up, and his office was in a historic home in downtown Anderson, Indiana. A couple stories. And so we walk up the stairs, and he opens up the door just at the top of the stairs, and my heart chakra just goes, boom! Whoa! What's going on here? Well, I look inside the room, and it's lined with bookcases, and there's all kinds of metaphysical books, and there's stuff hanging from the ceiling, and right inside the door, there's a card table with a deck of tarot cards on. I look at them, I look at him, he looks at them, he looks back at me, he says, you know what those are? I said, yeah. He says, you ever have your cards read? And I said, no. He says, you know what they do? I said, yeah, they're a way to connect with consciousness outside of yourself and set yourself aside so that you don't get in the way, depending on how the reader is able to perceive and relate and how open they are. They can be manipulated, but in this case, he did a reading and shared with me what I didn't share with him from my experience and what I did. And he said, dude, you're in for life. Yeah, I know. My best advice to you, what do you think he said? Keep going. Keep your mouth shut. I was 18. People are not going to understand your wisdom and what you're able to share from just the experience you've had today, along with all the other stuff that I told you about my childhood and all those. Did I follow the advice? No. Absolutely not. I just, you know, when it's there to speak, you speak. And if there's consequences, oh well. Those are exactly, you know, the full of trials and tribulations. They knew. Okay? So, still in school, I go back, and I'm reading college Castaneda stuff. And I ask, okay, do I have a guide? You know, because I've had this voice that I've known for a while, but there's been no identity. There's been no face. And although it seemed like the voice of God, I couldn't see why, you know, I would just, there had to be some intercessor somewhere. And I was very much believed in and had experiences with the Christ consciousness and things like that. But I knew that there were a lot of others involved. So I'm in meditation again one day, and the name Zendor and this Indian's face pops into my head. And eyes that could just pierce your soul. But warm at the same time. So a few days later, I'm listening to George Harrison's Living in the Material World, and I hear this voice say, pick up a pen and paper and write. And I did. I don't know if you can see that. Should make it a little bigger. But I wrote 3 pages of what looked like a mix of Sanskrit or Egyptian or something like that. Okay? I had no idea what I wrote, only that I wrote it. And so I took it around campus to see if any instructors might be able to give me a clue. Most of them just looked at me sideways and said, you can mess. So there was a friend of mine though that lived on the other side of the dorm that I knew could do automatic writing. He grew up in a metaphysical family. nobody. And so I said, Jim, got something I want to talk to you about. Can we get together? And I know